Welcome to Stretford Paddock. Today's show is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Now more than ever, we rely on the internet, whether that's streaming shows, streaming podcasts, speaking with loved ones, or of course, watching the football. Now more than ever, with our rapidly growing digital footprint, security is a huge concern. Thankfully though, Surfshark have got you covered because Surfshark VPN have got access to servers in loads of different countries, which means that you can change your virtual location to a place where the sport might be free to air, or there are different broadcasting rights, or even just being able to log in to your services from back home if you're abroad. Surfshark VPN also encrypts your online connection, making sure that all of your activities, including streaming matches, remains private and secure. And even if you're not just streaming football, whether it's the latest Netflix show or something on Amazon that you've been wanting to watch, you can watch it no matter where you are. And also, there's plenty of region exclusive stuff that you can get access to by changing your digital location. And by connecting to the optimized servers provided by Surfshark VPN, you may actually get faster streaming speeds and reduced buffering, so you're not going to be waiting ages to see if that last minute shot actually went in. Overall, Surfshark VPN offers you the best flexibility, security, and accessibility to all the streaming and shows you could possibly want, making it the best choice for streaming. And currently Surfshark have a phenomenal deal on. Using the code Paddock, which is easy to remember, you get 4 extra months for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, 4 extra months for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go and check out the link in the description. And thank you once again to Surfshark for sponsoring the show. Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the Paddock Podcast, and today we are going to be looking at Manchester United's transfer window with a keep or sell list. Jay's here, Ronaldo's here.
Ronaldo returns.
Loan.
Keep, loan or sell. We're going to be going through everyone in Man United's squad and deciding whether we should keep them or sell them this summer.
Yeah.
Because it's a big window. And
it is a massive window.
We've already basically, if the Brian Mbeumo deal gets done, we've basically spent our allotment for the window. Right. Any further purchases, are dependent on sales. So we do need to sell a few, and we're going to get through it. We will be selling a few. But first of all, Jay, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good to see you. I know you're a little bit under the weather today, aren't you?
Got a little
soldiering
bit of a
on. If anyone notices, a little bit of a twang in Joe's voice there.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit bummed
Never
up.
really ill, are you?
No,
he's one of them, Joe.
Boy.
The channel comes first,
Yeah.
even more so than his health. If he's dying, he'll come in because he knows he needs to provide content for the
How are you, Ronaldo?
masses.
You back? You weren't here last week?
Been away,
Where have you been?
Yeah. I went to Bodrum, Turkey for a week. It was really, really nice, really posh. Caught a nice tan as well.
Looking glowing. You have got a little bit
Is
of
it hot?
Post-holiday glow to you.
It wasn't boiling. It was the type of heat that was bearable. Do you know
What kind of, sort of high 20s?
High 20s,
Yeah.
but with a decent amount of wind at the right times.
No, that's brilliant.
Do you know what I mean?
Did you like it? I've never been to Turkey.
I loved it, but it was it's very different. Turkey, everything can be quite cheap and cheerful. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was very
bougie
and Mykonos.
Is that not?
Did you put the word in for the old Osimhen deal?
Yeah.
Did you try and
when
get
you're over there.
just try and get the feelers on it at all?
I didn't, but they do love. They love football over there. I feel like football is basic their culture. I had a couple of little kids come and ask me for pictures.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Why? Who did they think you were?
Getting confused with something. Did they think you were Victor Osimhen?
I think they see someone like me over there, and they
like,
just
Victor,
assume they like my hair, and they assume that I'm a.
Or they might watch this
person.
channel.
Or they could be Paddock fans.
Did they speak English?
No.
So probably not Paddock fans then.
Probably not. I learned a bit of Turkish though.
Did you?
Go on then.
I just kept saying tamam.
What's that mean?
Tamam.
Just means okay.
Tamam.
And you can use that in many contexts, in a lot of contexts.
Like the word okay.
Yeah, or like the word alright in English.
It's like alright, it's like alright.
It's like you can say that for to say hello, to say thank you, to say yes, to say, alright. It's a pretty catch-all word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tamam.
That could be wrong. Someone probably knows Turkish in the chat. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, let's get started, shall we?
Okay.
Enough of these Oxford pleasantries, as Jay likes to say.
Oxbridge pleasantries.
Oxbridge. We're going to go through the team player by player and decide whether we should keep them, sell them, or loan them. There's no better place to start. From the back, Andre Onana. One of the biggest names in the squad. He cost 50-odd million quid. Has been a sort of source of constant debate. We've got a lot of names to get through, but I think this is one we can maybe have a little bit of a chat about, because I think it's pretty serious, this situation. Goalkeeper matters massively. We were talking about this before, Jay.
Yeah.
You look at the top teams in the Premier League. I'm including United in this because of what we've won and who we are. Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, they've had more success finding goal-scoring number 9s than they have goalkeepers in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
it's really hard to find top-class keepers across the board. And it seems as though Onana isn't in that top-class keeper bracket. What do you think we do?
Me and you were talking, and we were saying, part of me feels like, I did this on the news yesterday, we talked about the Martinez links, and loads of people actually were saying we need to get rid of Onana regardless of Martinez. And I understand that argument, I really do. And especially if you're going to bring in, say, Mbumo, Cunha, maybe a striker. It's like you're almost getting the team together, but you've still got this massive question mark about a position as vital as goalkeeper. I just feel that because of the other areas we've got, because of the money, and because of the difficulty even in bringing in a goalkeeper and whether they're good enough for Manchester United, I'd probably just about say give him one more season. I'm sort of 51%, 49%. I like Onana, and you know he's a decent guy, but he's had 2 seasons now, and I said to you at the beginning of last season we needed to see him kick on, and he didn't. Let's be honest, he just didn't. His second season was arguably worse than his first. So it's more to the point of, can we have such a big overhaul as changing 5 or 6 positions in the team? Probably not. It's just that. But if there was a goalkeeper there and we could afford him, I'd probably say sell him, but I just don't think there is.
What are you saying, Manny?
I'd say sell. Cut your losses. As I've always said, I think United always a year or 2, maybe even longer, slow in terms of getting rid of Deadwood. And there's too much sentiment involved, always wondering what could be. But I think United need to be a little bit more ruthless. I think Onana's shown that he isn't quite good enough. And the sooner we sell him, the better. And we can replace him, because as you've said, no team wins things or does well without a good keeper. I think even you look at Chelsea's situation, their keeper performances this season were terrible, and I think that affected them quite a lot in terms of where they were placing, especially some points in the season. And even looking at Nottingham Forest, I think a lot of the reason why they did so well this season was because Sells had an exceptional season. So people often remind me this when I'm kind of tweeting and saying we should get a midfielder and we should get a striker. I'm saying a keeper's very important, and it is true, because they can lose you in terms of the pendulum. They could lose you 5 or 10 points sometimes over the course of a season, but a good keeper can actually gain you about 5 or 10 points as well. So I think with Onana, especially where we play, where we don't really get the best out of his ball playing abilities, which is meant to be his biggest selling point, I think Onana is a sell for me 100%. Because and also I believe defenders obviously defend better and have a little bit more confidence and a bit more assured when they've got ultimate belief in the keeper behind them. Yeah. And I think when you've got someone a bit erratic and can be a little bit iffy like Onana, it kind of exudes that kind of nervousness throughout the team and throughout the back line as well. So I'd get rid of him. Yeah, I think 2 years, I like to give, I think 1 year you never know with someone. I think 2 years you've got a picture there.
Excuse me.
And I think that if he hadn't had that spell, that was, again, it was a 6-week spell, so it's hardly insignificant, then maybe we could sort of, discuss him being here. But I just think he's had both seasons, he's had lengthy spells that have cost us massively, where he's just not been on it. And I think he struggles with confidence, and he struggles with one mistake leading to a second, to a third, to a 10th. And I think that that's a really bad trait for a goalkeeper to have generally. So I think I agree. I think we're going to go sell.
I'm not going to argue with that. I get it. I think it was more just a case of, the logistics involved that me thinking Andre Onana is an amazing keeper. And I hope if we do keep him, he turns it around, man. Yeah. I really do.
Let's move on to our next play then. Altay Bayindir. I'll start with this one. I think sell as well. We got him for 4 million. He's played 10 games or so for United. In those 10, he's had 3 or 4 absolute stinkers. I think that he's an all right keeper, but I don't see him either becoming the first. Like the fact that most people aren't advocating for him to be our first choice keeper, despite the season that Onana's had, tells you a lot about the trials and the test that he has had. We want him for 4.3 million. I think we can probably make a little bit of profit on that, or certainly get our money back. And I personally would do so. I just think, it's not that hard to look like an all right keeper, and he's come in and
especially when the number one's playing awful. Yeah. I did tell you, I've obviously got mates that play professionally in Turkey, and he said the general consensus is like there's a lot of between the players, whether it be in the Super League or even in the division below, there's a general shock factor about the fact that Bayern D managed to get Manchester United move.
It's weird, isn't it? Because every time he plays, and I like Bayern D, like as a person, that might sound weird, but when I met him with my kids, he was super nice. But as a player, every time he plays, there's some sort of issue. Like the Villa game, where was it the Villa game where it was like, was their goal got disallowed? And it shouldn't have got disallowed. He just let go of it for some reason. And you think there's always something, and I just wish he'd stop doing these silly things.
And like the corner in against Tottenham.
Yeah, there's always like there's something. Even the Arsenal game at Emirates, where obviously he got flowers for saving a penalty and doing well. And even then, it was a couple of moments where you're like, crikey.
Yeah.
So yeah, all I would say that is I don't think you're going to end up selling 2 keepers. So I think if Onana goes, it's very rare that a club sells 2, the first and second choice keeper, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Yeah. So what you say? I'll go sell. What do you think?
Sell.
Because he was nice to me, I like him keeping, but I'm outvoted.
Outvoted. Right, let's move on to our next goalkeeper, Tom Heaton. Quick keep.
Experience. He's won things. He doesn't play, and he's a good guy to have around the squad from everyone. And even when we spoke to him, Steve interviewed him on tour. It seems like someone who just fits that role of experienced professional who brings something to the group. Yeah. He doesn't play, so what does he bring? Well, he brings that experience, which is what you need from a first choice goalkeeper, unless you're going to go down the other route of an up and coming one. But I like Tom Heaton, and I think he may as well just keep him.
Yeah, that's the reason. I think is he extended his contract?
I think so, yeah.
I think
he's in talks to, I think.
Yeah, he'll be earning little to nothing, but he's literally one of those that gets, he's just a veteran presence in the changing room, and he's meant to be well liked, very good with the youngsters as well. And sometimes these third or fourth choice keepers, they're just best to keep them around. I know it sounds like they're basically getting paid to do pretty much nothing, but they can have a bit of value to a squad in terms of like building a bit of a culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to our next thing, because we don't need to dwell on that one too much. Lenny Yoro, for me, this is the strongest keep maybe in the whole team.
In the history of
Manchester United. He's barely on any money compared to the likes of, we've got the list here, the likes of De Ligt or Bruno or even, Casemiro, plays like that. He's one of our best defenders. One for the future as well. I absolutely love this transfer already. I think he's great.
One of the few that emerged with any credit from Bilbao, if I'm being brutally honest. A hugely talented defender. Looks like he could be a talent for the next decade. I hope he stays injury free. Slight concern with a couple of injuries had, but nothing major. Yeah. But yeah, it's a complete no-brainer. If you used to sell him, you may as well just give up.
Yeah, what's the point?
Oh, we've had a player that's decent, who's done the business, he's only young, let's get rid. Do one.
Ronnie, yeah. You don't need to say too much on it.
100%. It was upkeep. I think he had a little bit of doubters very early, which I found quite strange. The reason he was touted as one of the best centre-half prospects on the 21 in world football and was wanted by Real Madrid, and I think people are starting to see it now. And I think the sky's the limit with him, because only being 19 and playing in a position that has a late peak, he's got another 10 years of growth to go, and I think he's brilliant. Yeah,
me too. Fantastic player. Matthijs de Ligt, again, I'm going to say keep. I liked him as a transfer, 40-odd million quid, which again is decent money these days. Very good player, but no problems at all. Keep him.
Again, it's not, I wasn't as concerned, just a bit gutted he was injured as often as he was, because I think we could have used him, especially in that final. But I mean, there's no reason whatsoever to even consider selling Matthijs de Ligt.
Ronnie, same?
Yeah.
Everyone in the comments is agreeing as well.
I'd keep. He's solid. Yeah. Solid professional. He's got that bit of leadership about him as well. And I think his performances, for the most part, have been really good. So I've got no problems with de Ligt.
Yeah, Brian Casey echoing that, a leader in the defence as well with de Ligt, definitely. Harry Maguire. This is an interesting one, because he's 32 years old now? He's got a year left on his deal, I believe. He is 32. All reasons why you think maybe it would be time to sell him, but he's sort of put himself back in the first team almost.
He's been steady in it for about a year now. He's had a couple of he'll have a clanger every now and again, but
not really.
I think it's because also what saved him is Amram coming in with his back three system, and it is meant to be a system that suits him, especially in the middle. And the thing is with Harry is football's all about what happens in both boxes. Yeah. And Harry Maguire has always been highly valued, and there's a reason why he was bought for 8 million and he was wanted by Pep Guardiola is because he's brilliant in both boxes for the most part. Sometimes he can be a bit dodgy if caught him behind and his pace, etc. But I think I would, if you could get a decent fee for him, I'd consider, but I wouldn't actively look to sell. Yeah. But under the right circumstances, I'm saying that I would. But honestly, if someone might think it's crazy, I don't think there's like a chasm between Maguire and De Ligt.
No, I don't think he's miles better.
I know people might think that's an insane thing to say.
No,
but 100%
you're not saying he's better or as good as you're saying. There's not a chasm. I get that.
Do you know what I mean? I would. I'd keep. I usually feel like I'm a lot harsher than this, but I'm looking at the players.
You got to be honest, aren't you, bro?
I'm going to keep as well. He's one of those players that I think his reputation's higher now than it probably was 2 years ago. I think that he's back to looking like a competent, good defender. He seems to be a decent bloke around the dressing room. We've never really had any problems from him other than the Mykonos stuff. But in terms of him as a professional, and him as a footballer, there's never any issues whatsoever. I think he's one of those players that other footballers tend to rate more highly than non-footballers do. When you hear people talk about him at England camp and at training, people seem to think he's a very good player.
It's more like person. Like he's meant to be like loved. Players love him.
Apparently, I heard from reliable source that I'm not ITK, you know that, but I think we've all heard it, that a lot in the England camp weren't happy with the way he was treated by Southgate towards him.
He's like a well-respected, well-liked player in squads that he's in, which is weird because everyone's thought he's come across quite like delusional and obviously very defensive. But then again, you look at some of the hate that he received.
I was very
critical of him.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being critical and booing him or whatever, or abusing him on social media, which is some of the nonsense that was going on. And you always have that backlash with England fans as well, where they hate United players and they can't wait to try and stick the knife in with him. Because of what Ronnie said, you're not going to get big money for him. He has played a lot of games recently for United. And there's every reason to believe he still will. Because De Ligt, Yoro, Martinez, who we'll get onto, even Aiden Heaven have all had injury issues. They've missed big chunks of potential games. Yep. So I think it would be a massive gamble to get rid of Maguire, because there's a good chance he ends up playing 20 to 30 games next season.
Yeah, keep him. Lisandro Martinez, I'm gonna go with keep again. There's no reason to loan him.
You can't sell him. He's like injured till the end of the year.
Yeah,
exactly. You keep him and just hope that he gets back to that play we saw just before he got injured.
Victor Lindelof shouldn't be on the list. He's already left. There you go. He can be a sell.
I know we've zoomed past it. We're going to get to it. All right, I'll speak about this when we get to the player.
Okay. Aiden Heaven. Again, I don't think we need to dwell on this. It looks a fantastic prospect.
That's the one I was going to mention. Do you think with Martinez having like his second really, really bad injury, having been so good, especially in the early part of his United tenure, do you think Aiden Heaven's emergence and his performance, also with the fact that Lenioro has shown himself to be really good in that left centre-half role as well, do you think Aiden Heaven could pose a little bit of a problem to Martinez in terms of his place in the team or not?
I think he could, if he keeps playing how he has done. I think the thing we always forget with Martinez, just how good he is on the ball and just how well you can play out when he's playing and how much that drops off when he's not. And I think Aiden Heaven's looked fantastic, but he's 18 and like you said, he's kind of, Yoro can do a job on that side, Martinez can do a job on that side. I do think that if he keeps improving and playing how he has done, then it'll be a question, but I think when Martinez is back and fully fit, I do expect him to play at the minute.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but in terms of Heaven, definitely keep. No loan, obviously, certainly not sell. We all agree on keep.
Yeah, 100%. I've been really impressed with him. Again, just gutted he got that injury. You know, against Leicester, he was flying. He only played like 3 games before he got an injury. It kept him out for 6 weeks.
No, because he's gone.
He's left.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't have been on the list in the first place. Tyler Fredrickson. Bit of a different one now because he's an academy player, 20 years old, so he's older than both Yoro and Heaven. Kind of had that weird run of being injured for a couple of years after the FA Youth Cup win. Then came back into the first team for a couple of games. Looked very good in one, not so good in the other. What are you thinking?
Loan. I think if you can, Ronnie said it for me. Yeah, if you can get a loan, you're right. If you can get a loan for him, I think he'd benefit from that and the club can assess him. I'd like to see though, we've spoken about this on Academy Review with Finn, and I think me and you've spoken about it, Joe. We need to be better at loaning out players. Yeah. You send players out on loan and they'll get like no minutes hardly. And you're like, well, why have we done that? There's no conversation going on here. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is the idea and the plan behind this? Get him to a decent standard and make sure he's going somewhere where they're going to use him and you've got a relationship with that club where you can go, right, okay, yeah, here's a player. And if he isn't, then pull him back.
Sometimes they do use him for a game or two and they realise that they're not.
I get that.
Because it's a tough. The football league is tough.
But you've seen it like, I know it's going back a bit. It was like, was it Tuanzebe went to Italy and played like 10 minutes or whatever? I know that's an extreme example, but we've had players that have gone like and had like 20 minutes in like 4 months and you think, surely it wasn't that bad oh, he's not been that bad in training. It's like,
because you know the
come on.
managers outside the Premier League, especially when you're looking at league football, like League 1 and 2, their job's literally on the line week to week. It's like 1 or 2 games. They have little to no patience, especially when it comes for players that are loaned from bigger clubs.
just talking the going of somebody's going to the Swiss league or whatever. Some of the players, I think, is it Lausanne, thank you. Maybe that, I don't know the standard there, how good or bad it is, but something where you can at least get minutes and assess.
They're in
it.
the league with young boys who are, a European team consistently. Not a great one, but, they put up a fight against people. Right, so Fredrickson, let's go with loan. Let's move on to Luke Shaw then. For me, I'd be up for selling Luke Shaw.
I'd say sell, I agree with you.
A buyer, I just don't think there will be, but in terms of us picking this, I would go sell, I think.
When's it enough?
Damaged goods.
When do we say it's time to move on? And I think the only issue you got is, like you mentioned, Joe, is who's going to buy him because of his injuries. It's just, we need to move him on, man. We need, I know disrespect to Luke Shaw, but how many games did he play last season? Was it, I'm guessing about 7? I know he played in the final. He sort of got his,
5. It's 5 in the Europa League, so he's played a few.
Sorry, I'm doing him a disservice there. 12. All right,
7 in the league.
7 in the league. It's not enough, and he's on big dough in it.
Yeah. Not mega money, but he's on
he's
more
not
than
on pennies.
Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw arrived at United and he was on big dough straight away.
Really?
As a 19-year-old, I think he was on like around 100k straight away.
That's Chelsea as well.
Yeah. Should we go with sell?
So
Harry Amas up next. I think he needs a loan personally, or maybe just keep him in the reserves for a little bit longer. I don't think he's quite ready for that first team step up yet, and I think because he's on the smaller side, he could maybe do with a bit of a hardening up in a loan somewhere, maybe lower divisions. I would go loan personally.
I'd look to loan, but the only issue is it when you loan him, do you then just have one person in a left wing back position?
Well, I think you've got a couple, haven't you? You can play Dallo there.
You
can play.
We have to wait and see what happens with his kid as well.
You can play Mazraoui there.
Is it Leon who's coming in from Paraguay? I don't know what the plan is with him.
Keep an eye on him, United back on Twitter, which is brilliant with the footage he gets. So Diego Leon's 100% going to be loaned out. He's nowhere near ready.
Oh right, okay. I'll be honest with you. I'd keep Amas in the team, but I get your point.
I think we're going loan 2-1.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not that invested in it.
Next up, Diogo Dallo. I think it's an easy keep.
Let's not be silly. I know there's people out there probably going, "Oh, get rid of
you."
Dallo,
Think for a
rubbish.
second I'm going to say sell, but
Diogo
he's
your little mate, isn't he?
No better than that, man.
Yeah, I think keep. Especially now we've got a bit more in front of him as well. I think that if Mbumo comes in,
people will be definitely saying like sell. Obviously,
it's a real mixed bag.
Even though he got Player of the Year last year, but funnily enough, I think Dalot's actually one a player that if we were to sell him, United could actually get a decent fee for him.
30-40 million maybe.
I think that's what makes it. I don't think that high.
30.
I think you can get like 25 million.
It's not
at least.
worth
I think you get 30.
I'll tell you what, he smashed it in that.
Ask the comments how much you reckon you could get for Dalot.
He smashed it in the Nations League final. He knew what he was doing, just hugging Ronnie all the time. That's how it's done. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
On all them pictures.
It didn't do good for my Dalot PR man when Martinez is starting João Neves right back instead of Dalot. I was like, man, this. I'm gonna get. Hey, they're gonna cane me for this.
Was it who you put there? Is it Semedo?
And brought Semenyo on with the Wolves right back instead.
The wheel Juan Pedro says 25 to 30 million. Yeah, I think somewhere in that ballpark for him. He's not that old either. You got to remember that. He's got a lot of games and he's 26 years old. Just turned 26 as well.
I probably keep Dalot.
Keep him definitely. Yeah, definitely.
If you got a £35 million bid, I'd take it though.
Yeah. Wow. Nusem Mazraoui, you don't need to say anything. No. Keep. Yeah, that's, simple.
Completely successful signing.
Patrick Dorgu grows on me every time he plays.
Yeah.
I think obviously keep, definitely.
Hey, don't.
Ronnie looked at each other like school kids. As soon as I saw him smirking, I'm sorry. I'm 45 years old.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry, Joe.
Patrick Dorgu gets micro-analysed by Joe on watch-alongs, man.
Yeah.
You
got to say
I like that though. I like that because he's not harsh. Joe's the guy in it to stick up for people.
So I like him, and I think he does more and more. And in certain games, he's had bad games.
He's had to grow on you, innit?
He has grown on me. And I think at times when you want, especially in this season when we've got such a bad final third production, I'm almost like begging Dorgu to put one in from the corner of the 18-yard box, and that's not what he's going to be doing. Certainly, and for the next few years, he's not ready to do that yet. But it's not his fault the people in front of him aren't putting away chances,
and also,
aren't producing.
When did he arrive? January?
Yeah.
Like, we talk about giving players like 2 seasons. He had, 5 months?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, come on. And he hasn't been that bad. I know he's not.
I don't think
he's
been nearly as bad as people have made out.
No, absolutely not.
There's people that have been here a lot longer than Patrick Dorgu who've got a lot more question marks around him.
He does a lot of things really well as well. Stuff that goes under the radar.
And I don't even think the conditions he's been even having to play in have been like great for him. I think he's almost having to learn on the fly, game in, game out. And we talk about like physicality issues and athleticism issues that we had in the team. He's definitely brought that. And he's actually one of the few players that never really loses duels against other players as well, which for years we've just seen our players get bullied. Yeah. I think defensively he's been good as well. But it's just that people are rating him on whether he's like been this elite forward outputting wing back, which he needs to be. Because obviously in this system you almost need to be brilliant at both. It asks a lot of the wing backs, and I think that's what's leading people to kind of criticise him a bit too harshly.
Absolutely.
I'm still not over that yellow card, by the way.
Yeah, where he got fouled and he got booked.
That's the worst yellow card I've ever seen in my life. Genuinely.
Tyrell Malacia,
Self.
Like the guy, nice lad, but come on.
I've never thought he was good enough.
No, he did a job for a while, but that while was 2 seasons ago.
Manuel Ugarte. He's an interesting one because he's not everyone's cup of tea, Ugarte. I don't think alone is particularly an option.
Is he Amarum's?
Don't know. What do you think?
It was a bit weird at the end of the season, isn't it? How he didn't barely played. I think Amarim was just fuming.
I think you're right.
I think Amarim was fuming after the West Ham game.
I think you're right.
That does happen sometimes. You have that much of a stinker in a game where the manager just kind of sulks about you for a few games. So you didn't really play him after that.
Because it was like that whole thing as well, doing something that's almost unforgivable, in like getting just almost bullied.
I think after the West Ham game, you've seen his arse with Ugarte. But I don't think it's the end. I think you can't, for an investment that he was, you can't sell him a year later, because for the most part, if you're judging his performance over the course of the season, I think he was decent enough. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the tail end of the season, he was a bit iffy, but I think United do need to upgrade on him 100%. And I wouldn't say sell as well, because if he was a little bit cheaper, I'd be a little bit more softer on it. But I think he's got enough uses about him as a squad player.
I like him. I think
he deserves at least another season.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, it was a little bit frustrating and deflating as well that he didn't feature at all in Bilbao. I was a bit surprised.
And Casemiro was playing well as well, so that kind of...
I wouldn't sell him. I think that'd be a huge call, and it makes you look a bit silly as well.
Yeah, it does. I think he gets more criticism than he deserves personally, Ugarte.
Yeah,
I think he's a good player. I think he's made some mistakes and he's not the most well-rounded of players. But I don't think that's what he's here for.
No.
I think he breaks up play really well. I think he reads the game really well defensively. I think once we've got a solid pressing unit, him being in there and doing those, like, you see him, the player will turn away, go to make a pass, and he's predicted that pass and he's on the next guy. He does that really well. And I think maybe, and I'm not blaming Casemiro for Ugarte being poor, but I think once he has a partner next to him that can do almost as much running as him and is expected to do the same work and close in the same spaces that he does, I think you'll see an even better player out of Ugarte. So yeah, I'd absolutely keep him. Casemiro?
Don't know,
I'm not gonna lie to you. He's had a good end to the season.
Yeah.
Been clutch, and he does offer a lot of good intangibles as well. And he's another one who's got penalty area presence in set pieces definitely as well, which is important. But honest to God, if there was a good enough fee from Saudi or something else, I don't know where the market will be for him. I think it's hard to say we could sell, because where do we sell him to? But Casemiro was someone that I wished we could have sold to like the Saudi league for like 30-40 million and replaced him with someone younger and someone with a little bit more legs. Because at the end of the day, can you rely on Casemiro week in, week out? And also the fact that if United are trying to alleviate PSR and trying to change the wage structure, for what Casemiro will bring is on way too much money as well. If it was down to me, I'd say sell, but I just don't see where we'd sell him to. So I'd
say the same. I'd try and sell him. And not because I don't like him, but I just think
I like
he's not.
I like his experience, his presence and stuff, and I like his attitude. Seems pretty phenomenal. I know he's on a lot of money, but he wasn't getting pits and he never kicked up a fuss. But I also think a little bit that whole his rejuvenation flattered to deceive a little bit at times in the Premier League, especially, or Premier League opposition, where he wasn't quite as good as he had been in the Europa, and obviously that's almost irrelevant to us next season because we're not in Europa. Unless you're getting big money for him or decent
also,
money.
Also, the other thing is, he's something. What's he on, like 18 million quid a year?
Yeah, mate. Honestly,
he's like, I think it's him, Rashford, and Bruno are our 3 biggest earners. And I think Rashford's going to get sold. Bruno deserves it. Casemiro's the odd one out a little bit. I like him. If he stays, I won't be disappointed. No. It's not like certain players where you think we just have to do anything we can to get rid of him. But I don't see a need for him to be here. And also that amount of money. 18 million quid, that can get you someone on Lenny Yoro's wage plus a 12 million, like that can get you a 60 million signing on Lenny Yoro's wage.
Yeah.
It literally can. So I just think that, personally, I think if we can get a buyer, then I'd go for it. Let's move on to the next guy. And we have got Toby Collier.
I'd keep him.
I think I'd go.
I'd like to see Toby Collier being
I'd keep him.
I think he's been very unlucky, Toby Collier, in his first season. He comes in and was it Liverpool game with 2-0 down? He comes on at half time, and that was his Premier League debut. He's had some good performances, I think, at the Emirates. Had an injury, so he's been in and out of the team with injuries as well. I still feel the jury's out on him, but I think he's done enough for me. I'd like to see a bit more of him. I'd like to see what he can do if he's given a few more opportunities, and then maybe make an assessment in the next season. I'm not saying I definitely think Toby Collier is the future in Manchester United or anything like that, but I think he's done enough to warrant sticking around the squad for the next season. I'd rather that than a loan.
Do you know what helps him? He's our most athletic midfielder, I reckon.
He gets about a bit, doesn't he?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He probably is our most athletic midfielder, which could stand him in good stead as well.
Yeah. And I suppose
in terms of running power and stamina.
He's 21 as well, so I don't know how much a loan helps him really. But I don't know. I think we'll have to see. Give him a keep. Give him one last chance and see how he gets on. Because if you're 22 and you're not really playing and it's not quite there, that's old enough, I think. But yeah, he's 21 years old, so give him one more season. Kobbie Mainoo, this is an interesting one.
Not for me.
Keep.
Yeah, I've been saying that for ever, and I'll continue to say that.
I refuse to give up on Kobbie.
No, I'm not giving up on him. I know he's not had the best season, but he's only 20, and we know what he can do. We've seen what he can do, and I'm hoping that we can see more of it next season.
Yeah, I completely agree. Kobbie Mainoo, got to keep him. What's the fucking point in anything? Do you know what I mean? Players like that are the whole reason you watch football.
Yeah.
Talented academy players who do something different. Yeah, definitely keep him. Let's move on. Who have we got
Dan Gore.
next? Dan Gore.
Sell. He's never going to be a first team player at United, is he?
I feel like the time's running out for Dan Gore.
I
like Dan Gore. He's a good player, and I know he worked with Opera and that, and he's someone who's trying his best. But realistically, if we're going to start being honest, like Ronnie was saying, has he got a pathway to the first team anytime soon? Does a loan necessarily lead? Even if he does well on a loan, does that mean he comes back and plays for United? I don't think it does.
Yeah.
I think if he does well on a loan, I think it means he gets a move.
There's a few character concerns with him as well.
Is there?
On a couple of loans he's gone on as well.
I didn't know that, so fair enough.
Yeah, I think sell as well. Yeah, he's never shown enough, has he? Who we got next? Sekou Kone.
Loan for me.
Loan? I think I might actually even go keep. Give him another year.
I'm edging towards keep. You know,
but do you know
what it is? I think things can change. It's early in the transfer window. If United were able to sign a midfielder or another, which I think we do need, then you'd be like, okay, you can give Kone a little bit of a breather, send him out on loan. But I think he's been promising in the academy. I think there's a big jump from there to first team football. But if it's not a loan, if we obviously sign a couple more midfielders, I'd say keep. But I think in this current scenario, without us actually signing a midfielder, I'd say keep.
Yeah,
fair enough. I wouldn't be gutted or annoyed if he did stay, but I wouldn't mind a loan.
Yeah,
Get
think
him
I
in the
might
first
go
team
loan
somewhere.
Well.
Let's see what he can do. I think they've been very cautious with him at United, and I get that because everyone was like, "Oh, get him in the first team," like almost as soon as he arrived. But I'd loan him, see what he can do somewhere. See him more week in, week out at a decent level.
Let's go loan. Bruno Fernandes, easy, keep, done.
To City.
Next. Loan
him to Al Hilal until
I mean, that's the only question. Did either of you think we should sell him? I know you didn't, Jay.
For 50 million.
You didn't fancy selling him?
I was if the price was, if he agreed to go in, and the price was like 120 million ish, I would have said so. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know he's our best player, and he's been a consummate professional, and he's been a shining light at Manchester United in a very dark place for pretty much 5 or 6 years. I also came to a point where, like, I thought, are we almost doing him a disservice? Do you know what I mean? Dragging him along.
Yeah.
But I think United were in such dire straits. I was more veering towards that. But then when it came out on the PSR that United are actually in the green in PSR and actually doing pretty well, I thought,
we just need to sell a few players.
I thought, keep Bruno.
Yeah, keep him.
He shouldn't be. No disrespect, but he should not be playing in the Saudi league.
No, come on.
At this stage,
And he's too good for that. It's because he's got the World Cup next year. I don't know if he
Yeah.
wanted to go to Saudi and play for a year before then.
Yeah.
As well.
He's not Ronaldo at 40, is he? It's like, come
No,
on.
that's
But if it was like a Bayern or a Barcelona or something like that
That's
came in for him,
different.
I wouldn't have begrudged him if.
No,
I
I
would,
was
no,
to say that
you make a
said
good
that.
point.
if Real
I
Madrid
wouldn't
wanted to buy him, or Barca or whoever Bayern, I would go, that's gutting, but I get it. I don't get Al Hilal personally. Garnacho.
So,
So
he's done what to be here. He's had an okay season, but it hasn't been great. We can get good money for him.
and we know he's going.
He's come through the academy. I know we know he's going. I know we got him from Atletico, but it's all profit in it because he came through the academy.
Yeah.
Like, this is the ultimate no-brainer for me of sell. Just move him on. I've stuck up for him in the past, but he's done everything he can other than sit down with Piers Morgan and tell everyone that he thinks the club's a shambles. So let's just get rid of him.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
No, I think, it's a sad one, isn't it? Because 12, 18 months ago, you'd have him in that same mental bracket as a Mainu.
Yeah.
It's like he's the whole reason you want to support Man United. But the way it's gone, the sort of, and I don't think he's a bad guy, but those sort of semi-persistent, just little, why did he do that? Oh, he shouldn't have done that. And, that post was a bit silly. He just starts to stack up, doesn't it, and chips away at, especially when United are in such a fragile position in terms of character and in terms of mentality. The last thing you need is a young player who doesn't really have the sort of numbers to back up those kind of things, to just be having the brother that pisses everyone off, the social media posts, leaving early, they're not turning, you know what I mean? Just it's something that United don't need. And also, in credit to him, he's worth a bit. Do you know what I mean? He's worth between 40 and 60 million quid. I think if United can get it, they should.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
It'd be interesting to see what we can get for him, actually.
Same, Ronnie?
So
You could potentially get some decent money for him, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's a sell, absolutely. Mason Mount, I'm going to go keep. I don't think we'd get enough for him. No point loaning him.
I'd sell
was
Mason Mount for a decent fee.
I just don't think we will. I understand the idea of selling him, especially if you do get Mbumo and you've got Cunha. The path to the first team there is quite difficult for him. He's had 2 seasons. I just don't think you can get any money for him, or not decent money. I just don't think it'll be worth it.
He's been lucky with injury. He's not really offered a whole lot since he's arrived, and even when he does play, more often than not, he flatters to deceive as well. So and also everyone says he works hard and presses well. I think you want more than that from your £55 million attacking midfielder.
But if there's no one else in the squad doing it, does it matter how much they cost? Do you know what I mean? If we haven't got an alternative, we're going to get through some players in a minute where you sort of go, well, they had to leave because their attitude.
I've never fully understood the whole. It's not his fault how much he got bought for. That's not necessarily the point.
No, I'm not.
It's more like because if a player's bought for £70 million, which is a high-end investment, and you want a decent return.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing.
People go,
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if he's bringing something that no one else is bringing, I'm not saying no one else presses, but I think he's one of the best that we've got at it. If that's something that we struggle with when he's not playing, and let's be honest, the alternatives aren't putting up tons more goals than him or tons more assists than him, do you think there is some value in keeping him because he does things that others can't, regardless of price?
He's a natural fit in the system, probably the most natural fit out of a lot of the forward players, because that kind of inside 10 position is where he thrived in a 3 at the back under Tuchel. Yeah. So Amram coming in, he thought that's a saving grace.
He spoke about it as well. He talked publicly how much he likes him, doesn't he?
But then when you've actually seen the performances, he's had a couple of flashes of brilliance. But for the most part, I don't get conned by that. Like,
are you saying just sell? Sorry to push you.
I'd sell for the right amount. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you saying, Jay?
I'd go with that. I just don't think you will get the right amount.
So what we're saying? Keep, sell. I'm saying keep. Your choice, Jay.
What's it?
Do you know what? I'll give him.
Divided or saying keep?
I'll give him till January.
Yeah, a lot of people saying there's no value in selling him, but there's also no value in keeping him.
If we're having this same conversation in January, just fucking loan him out or get rid of him.
Ahmad, no question here. Keep.
Like,
yeah. What?
Ahmad, keep.
No point.
Are you sure you want to keep?
One of the few
I think
shining
he's a
lights.
very good player. Like I said, I've changed my mind.
I don't think anyone on this channel has admitted they've changed their mind more about an opinion than he has about Ahmad.
We've seen a lot more.
Steel will be retweeting that clip again later.
People still tweet me about that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. What I'd seen is limited performances where he looked bright and decent, but I'd seen 3 managers in a row, Solskjaer, Rangnick and Erik ten Hag, not really play him. And I thought,
I think we've done this a million times, but I think I looked at it as more of a mistake by Erik ten Hag. You looked at it as more like backing.
But it wasn't ten Hag that signed him. It was Solskjaer.
Well, he was a child who'd been potentially child trafficked at the time.
Of course, but it was. I
don't think he was ever. People got fingered about his whole 37 million when he came in. I don't want to do this again, but he wasn't 37 million. That was with add-ons. And then when you spend that 37 million, people think, oh, he must be ready for the first team. Then he played an hour of professional football, and everyone ignored that. And remember when we chatted to Fabrizio Romano and he was saying, look, United have gone very early on him, but they're right to go early on him because he would have gone at Juve. And I think that skews it as well when people go, well, you spent 37 million quid on him. He scored on his debut. Why is he not playing? And I think he was just one of them. He's like a little bit like Jesse Lingard in that respect where he just needed a couple of low moves. And then after the Sunderland one in particular, he comes back. And I just like what I'm seeing. And
I completely agree. Yeah, I think he's an excellent player, and the more I see of him, the better he gets. It's just very rare. Let's be honest. It's very rare that a player takes 4 yees to settle into a new club. In fact, I can't even think of another player that ticks that box.
Can do when you sign him at 18, though, isn't it?
That was the thing.
Yeah, but again, it's still very rare.
Yeah. I think as well.
But I'm happy to be wrong.
He was an 18-year-old with nothing in the tank of playing.
He was quite an immature, professionally 18-year-old.
He played
not as a person.
Another one like Euro though, where in Italy he was like crazily high rated.
Yeah, that's what Romano was saying. He was like, he'd spoke to people at Atlanta just from his training, and they were like, "This kid's got something."
Right, let's move on then. It's definite keep.
Just free straight sells
with Ahmad, Jadon Sancho.
Sell.
Keep him. What are you on about? Sell him.
Anthony.
Sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Rashford again. Any change on Rashford? Any thoughts about him?
It's a lost cause.
Yeah.
So.
I can't sit here again doing another video sticking up for Marcus Rashford, right? I'm sorry. We've done it, and it's just never going to happen for him at United now. He's got to go.
Yeah. Rasmus Højlund.
Sell.
The only reason, as it stands right now, I'd keep him because we ain't got enough other options. But if we buy a striker, if we bought, let's just humour me, a Victor Gyökeres, then maybe it's time.
The next guy coming up is Joshua Zirkzee as well, by the way. I think they're worth talking about together.
Okay, that's a fair
because
point.
I think you can sell one of them. I don't think you can sell both.
All right. That's a very good point.
Would you rather sell Højlund than Zirkzee?
When you frame it like that, I would sell Højlund.
I mean, if you want to sell both, you can. No. I don't think I'm going to.
Both of them haven't pulled up trees, but I'd rather sell Højlund because Zirkzee is an actual competent footballer, and he. Zirkzee, you know what it is with Zirkzee as well.
Talk about damning with fame.
But he brings. Zirkzee's got other elements to his game. Do you know what I mean? Outside of scoring goals, and also he's got the versatility of playing in the 10 role.
And also, only one of them looks like he believes he's a United player.
On that though, about the competent football thing, I don't even disagree with you. Zirkzee looks best in the 10. I think he looks even less likely to score than Rasmus Højlund does when he plays as a 9.
I'd say Zirkzee's best game of the season came up front though in the Everton game where he won 4-0 at home.
Yeah, he played very well in that game. I'm not saying he's never played well up front. I'm just saying Amorim seems to prefer him in the 10. He's not a goal threat almost at all. He scored fewer goals than Højlund this season.
You are right.
I'm not pulling that out of my arse. Does it worry when you talk about path to the first team, if you've got Cunha and Bumo, potentially Bruno if you want him, Ahmad, Mason Mount, is there not, at least with Højlund, he's still, as it stands, our number 1 striker. Joshua Zirkzee might be 6th choice as far as the number 10 goes. Does that play into your mind at all?
Is Højlund the number 1 striker?
As of right now, he is. Of course he is. He started the Europa League final.
Because Zirkzee's been injured.
Okay.
The whole 9.5 thing baffles me a little bit.
I think Zirkzee works enough to be a backup striker if we sign like a marquee one. I just don't. I just think Rasmus Højlund is it's not. It's just not it.
It's not going to work.
And do you know what I mean? And this is funny because Xerxes not exactly been that great either. So, but I still, when I watch him, I still see ability there.
So
do you know what I mean?
would you say keep Xerxes, sell Højlund?
Yeah.
If you give
Jay?
me that choice, and again, it might even come down to the whole this second season thing that we all keep going on about. Højlund's had 2 seasons now, and his second one was worse than his first.
Yeah.
Xerxes could get better.
Xerxes had 1 year, and it's not been great. Let's not kid ourselves.
Do you know what's funny though? I reckon if you go to Mateus Cunha and you go to Mbemo, or even you go to the players and say, which striker would you rather play with?
You think they say Xerxes?
I reckon I'd say Xerxes. Footballers like playing with
Good football.
better footballers who are good technically, giving the ball back.
Concerns
So we're
me
saying
that
keep
he's
Xerxes
not a
then?
9. Yeah, I'd keep Xerxes. It just concerns me slightly he's not a 9, and like you're saying, the path to the first team is littered with 10s.
I think.
Exactly, you got
I'd say
Cheeto as
both.
well. On the rise, is he getting look? That's
I think Cheeto keep personally.
Oh yeah, Jesus wept. He just started banging him in against Hong Kong, China, whoever it was. No, was it not them, the other one.
That's who he scored. That was who he scored against. I think.
Oh, was it? Right,
Yeah.
sorry. I can't remember the teams
and
where we played.
also, I don't think we need massive striker depth as well. When if we got one game, was it one match a week basically?
Yeah. And on that note, Ethan Wheatley.
So.
Yeah, I agree. There you go. There's the squad. Couple of tweaks they're making
bang
there, but
on
I
with the
think that's
time,
pretty safe,
That's
pretty
very,
fair enough.
very
We've got a
good.
couple of super chats before we go. Akash Solomon says, is this list based on what we'd want to happen or what is realistically going to happen? Side note, City getting Cherky for 40 million euros is wild. This was what we wanted to happen, I think, wasn't it? A combination of the two, but slightly more heavily weighted towards what we wanted to happen. Michael Dyson says, hi guys, how are you? Good stuff. I'm going to Bulgaria with Helen next week. Should be fun. Do you know what else is fun? Hip transfers and stuff.
Helen.
Is his partner?
All right, sorry.
Nah, but you said Helen like we was meant to know who it was.
Oh, Helen.
I don't know.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay.
Cheers, Michael. Hope you and Helen have a lovely trip to Bulgaria. Coach Zach says Collier should stay even if he's not a full-time starter. We need players who can do a job when called on but don't expect to play every week. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Glenn F says, I like Ugarte and think that we should definitely stay, just needs a player alongside him who's forward-thinking. Mainu has bulked up too much, he thinks.
We'll see what
see.
the script is with Kobe Mainoo. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits into this system, this team next season. If he stays fit, whether he starts, I'm hoping he does get more minutes.
Doc Rock says keep Jay-Z, of course. Doc Rock is Joshua Xerxes' biggest fan. So yeah, there we go. We are keeping Joshua Xerxes. Right, that's going to be all from us. Thank you very much for joining us. I think it's been a nice one today, very productive. Got through a lot there.
We have got through a lot, and I enjoyed it very quickly, 'cause we've got to shoot quickly Wally of the week. Very quickly.
The Vito driver in Turkey.
What happened?
He asked us on the way there, are we going to international or domestic? And we said international 3 times. And then he took us to domestic, which was a 25-minute walk away from international.
That's
Yeah, it was
terrible.
in heat outside.
How do you cope with that?
On
There's a GoFundMe page. We'll share a link for that.
What's yours?
Who don't I like lately? Who's done me head in? Oh, Tuchel.
Why?
I don't know. England and that.
All the England fan stuff's been a bit gross, hasn't it? The England fan stuff's been a bit gross.
I don't know. Not even Tuchel, just England.
Tommy Robinson
Like,
stuff
chanting
and all
Tommy
that.
Robinson, and we
Fucking
beat
come off
Andorra,
it.
was it 1-0 or whatever, and
Yeah.
everyone's losing their mind. Just England.
Yeah.
There you go.
I agree.
Sorry.
Right, that's going to be all from us. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been the Paddock Podcast. We'll see you in a bit.